Okay, let's see if we can make this video. I gotta hold this phone. I don't have a good place to put it in my car. There's just nowhere to really put it so that you can kind of see my face. So I'm gonna have to hold it and talk into it this way. So I haven't made videos for a while. Just been busy, and I don't have a successful YouTube channel or anything. Excuse me. But I get some views, and I'm not an editor. I'm not a influencer. I'm literally no one. I'm just some dude. But this dude has a lot of information. So there are certain things we are watching for as end of the world, type events. Things that would happen that would say, okay, this is it. This is for real. Now, we've been lining up. Things have been happening left and right. Just craziness out there. And I'm not even going to get started on all the things that are happening, because there are many. Talking about Elon Musk's Neuralink brain chip to this thing, which I don't know how informed anyone is that's listening to this, if anyone, but there are big things happening behind the scenes. And they're not really behind the scenes, but if you don't have the info flowing in, you won't know about it. And they are making big, I don't know what you want to call it. They are finding massive things in Antarctica that they are saying that they are like, it's like the Anunnaki, if you believe in that. I believe they're demons, and I will always believe that. But some entity, non-human, has supposedly been found in Antarctica. Now, this isn't news. I mean, it's news. It's not new news. I just heard a clip from Justin Trudeau from years ago where they took him down there. And then he made a post on Twitter, when it was Twitter, and said that he was going down to help fight against a existential evil. And he was going down to help the people that were fighting, which Justin Trudeau couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag, and we know that. Doesn't matter. The point is that he said it, and so many other people have said this, and I've been hearing about it since 2009, how there were giants down there in a form of stasis. And if you don't know what stasis is, it's where they are alive, but they're not awake. They're asleep, for hundreds of years, thousands of years, whatever. So their body maintains living. It doesn't break down like it's dead, but they're not awake. They're not alive. It's like a in between death and life. Something we can't do. When you wonder why I call them demons, well, sorry about the camera, the phone. Like I said, I have nowhere to put this thing. I'm holding it with my hand. I'm trying to keep the light on my face so this doesn't look stupid. But anyway, so you can see it on picture on Google Earth. You can see massive pyramids down there, and they're claiming they found this city like the size of Manhattan with aliens, is what they're calling it. But again, demons, if you're Christian. That's not even what I'm going to be talking about, but those are things that are happening. So massive things coming out of Antarctica. Both news and aliens or whatever. Then we have, all of a sudden, everyone around the world, even our own children in America, as our country is decimated, we have young people protesting for who? Not America, but Gaza. Now, whatever. You want to pick sides? Pick sides. I don't care. I don't really care. These two groups of people have been fighting for thousands of years through the Bible. They had different names, same people, and here they are, after 2,000 years, they're still fighting. And everyone around the world wants to make this like, that Israel's committing genocide. If they wanted to commit genocide, they'd wipe out the whole Gaza Strip in one fell swoop. They could just annihilate everyone, and they have the military might and whatnot to do that. They're not doing that. But again, the point of it is that that's going to lead to something massive. So the end of the world stuff that I'm talking about, that isn't like Mark of the Beast or anything like that, but when you see, so here's something else that's not very well known, is that Israel wants to sacrifice perfect red heifers, and they were supplied by Texas. They have perfect red heifers. Well, back in October, on October 7th, when the Palestinians from Gaza did that massive terrorist attack on Israel, I wish I had the clip. I can find it. I can prove it. But anyway, Nelson Walters covered it on his YouTube channel, and we all thought it was just some random terror attack. No, this was to stop the sacrifice of the 5 red heifers. I think it's 5. Anyway, so when Jesus died on the cross, he made that not necessary. Like, no one needs to sacrifice any animals or any babies or anything else, because when Jesus died on the cross, that fixed everything. And we no longer lived by that old law. Paul talks about it in the Bible, where like, oh, I'm worried about eating pork. No, it doesn't matter what you put into your body. I mean, it does. But through the Bible, through sin, it doesn't matter what you put into your body. It's what comes out of your mouth that makes your body dirty, that makes you dirty, that makes your soul dirty. It's what you think. It's what you say. It's what comes out of your mouth. It's who you are. I used to be a very sexual person where I spoke a lot about sexual stuff. I don't do any of that anymore. I have one issue right now that I'm working against, and that's swearing. When I get upset, when I get irritated, man, that swear words just start rolling off my tongue. But other than that, I don't speak dirty. I don't talk trash. I don't say the things that I used to say to women or people. So that's the stuff that makes you dirty. You can believe what you want. I'm just telling you. So anyway, when this terror attack happened, it was to stop that sacrifice of the 5 red heifers. And how do I know this? Because the Palestinian leader that was calling for all this, that has been on video talking about this, called it a detestable religious practice. Why would they be so concerned about a sacrifice of 5 red heifers? Well, I don't know necessarily as much about their concern, but I can tell you what it means. What it means is that we're about to go into the last 7 years of the Bible. So here's how it works. They sacrifice the 5 red heifers, and then they start building the 3rd temple in Israel. And while all of that is going on, there will be a 2-state solution for Jerusalem and Israel, to where that is cut in half. And Jesus says right in the Bible, do not divide my land, or you'll regret it. Well, we have 5 red heifers, perfect red heifers, that are over there in Israel right now that came from Texas, and they only have till about October of 2024 to get the sacrifice done, or they won't be perfect anymore, because they'll get white spots in their coat and whatnot, and they can't have any blemish, which is, in the terms of sacrifice, that's a blemish. So we're on a timeline here. If those heifers are sacrificed and the 3rd temple gets started to being built, well, also what's happening over the next couple of months, a bunch of world leaders are going to get together and talk about a 2-state solution for Israel, for a peace plan, a peace treaty, whatever. Like, that isn't going to last. But anyway, those are the 3 main things: the red heifer sacrifice, the building of the 3rd temple, and the 2-state solution. So if we see these things happen over the next 9 months or so, 10 months, get ready. Get ready, because it's about to get real. I don't know. I believe there will be a rapture. Why do I believe that? Well, because the more I learn about this, at first I didn't believe there would ever be a rapture. I just didn't believe could happen. But I remember when I used to listen to Russ Dizdar. Most of you or any of you probably don't know who he is, and he's no longer with us. He was murdered, him and his wife, back at COVID. But this guy was on the forefront of fighting Satanists and whatnot. And he used to say, I listened to this guy for like 12 years. He was my guy to listen to of most of the people I listen to. I went to his videos more than any of them. And he is the reason that I was able to straighten myself up and get right and get real with God, because I couldn't get it. I don't know why. I've heard everything that he said. I've been told to me, myself personally, numerous times through my life. But for whatever reason, when Russ said it, there was a conviction inside of me that made me want to do right when no one else could really make me feel convicted like that. I just felt so guilty that I was kind of like him hawing around. I wasn't serious. Like, yeah, I went around saying I was a Christian to everyone, but I didn't really, practice it. I didn't make it part of my life. And something about him. So anyway, he's kind of like was my teacher. He said, fighting Satanists, that he would hold massive prayer meetings, and the Satanists later on, like a week later, would send a message, because they all knew each other. They knew who Russ was. They would do sacrifices and record it and send him the tape, and they would say his name in the sacrifice to fight against him. So like, this is legit stuff. I'm not talking about just some practice play Satanist. I'm talking about the most hardcore real Satanists that speak Enochian languages that no one even knows. You got to be basically demon-filled to be able to speak these languages. Well, through his prayer, they could not do successful rituals, satanic rituals. The prayer would make it for them not to be able to do it. And they would tell him that. They were furious about it. So why do I believe there's a rapture? I don't believe the Antichrist can be here with millions, possibly billions of Christians praying against him, praying for, everything. And so I believe that that's why there will be a rapture. There won't be able to, you can't have both at the same time. Now, even the alien community talks about that when there is a rapture, the aliens are going to take credit for it, and they're going to say they removed them from the earth. So if there wasn't going to be a rapture, why would the aliens have a plan to make it look like they did it? For whatever the reason they come up with. So my point is that if we see this red heifer sacrifice, the starting building of the third temple, and the two-state solution for Jerusalem, Israel, we ought to be seeing a rapture this year, in my best guess, or next year. Now, there's different theories on when it'll happen. Some believe it's before the last 7 years. Some believe it's halfway through the last 7 years. Some believe it's after the last, which doesn't make sense to me. Why would he do it afterwards? But there's going to be a remnant of people, 144,000, 12,000 from each tribe, from the book of Genesis, the original 12 tribes of Israel, the bloodlines. There will be 12,000 of each tribe left. So 144,000 around the world left to pray and fight and try to save people, even with the Antichrist here, while everyone else has been removed away. And no one knows their ancestry. No one knows their real what tribe they may have come from, or where they've originated from, or where their family line originated. So you could be speaking to me, or you could be a remnant that will be left here afterwards, and everyone else will be raptured. My point is that if we see these three things, I believe we're going to see a rapture possibly this year. Now, I also believe that the rapture will take place on, if I say this right, Rosh Hashanah, or Rosh Hashanah, which is a Israeli Jewish I can't think. It's a religious thing. Okay, I can't think of the word. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, it's like a week-long thing or something. I forget. There's numerous. There's like the Feast of Trumpets, the Feast of Tabernacles, all these different feasts. They're holidays for them and all this stuff. Well, I can't get into it right now, but that is when I believe we will see the rapture. So it will be probably, I think it's October. I'm not, without stopping the video to go back and look, but I believe that's when we will see the rapture. So if you're playing games with God and Jesus and the world, you're in big trouble. You need to make a decision right now, because God isn't going to care afterwards that the Antichrist is here and I don't want to be part of this anymore. Please, God, save me. Nope, it'll not going to happen. Not going to happen. I'm sorry. Well, I mean, no. That's why the remnant will be left here, to save people. My point is, do you really want to be here for the last 7 years when you can get right with God now and be raptured? Do you see my point? You don't get right with God now, there is a rapture, and you don't make it, it will be living hell on earth. I assure you. I assure you. And I don't want to be here for it unless I'm one of the remnant. I would never want to be here. The only reason I would be here as a remnant is because you have God's protection over you, unless, say there's a plan that you're going to go through something like Jesus went through, like hung on the cross. You'll have God's protection. Even though you'll have his protection then, that's part of the plan. That's part of the plan. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You don't want to be here for the last 7 years of the Bible. Christians will be hunted. Things will be so bad. People that take the mark of the beast will have these massive sores. Then we have the Bible that talks about the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Well, one of those is disease and sickness. And what are they talking about? Disease X. That this disease X is going to show up here real soon, and Bill Gates and Melinda Gates made a big they'll take it serious then. So, I mean, they are, this is coming, guys. It could be 5 more years, but do you want to risk it? So my point of this video is to tell you it's time to not be playing games anymore. It's time to make a decision. This is real. I mean, this is so real. Everything the Bible said was going to happen is happening. And we are finding out how much more we ever thought was going to happen is happening. So it blows my mind how accurate and how much the Bible, there's so many little things you don't even hear of that are happening that the Bible predicted. So my video is just to try to get people to start waking up, realizing we are running out of time, and I'm not worried about it. I know where my soul's going. Do you know where yours is going? Get right. Make a decision.